our lives are not as normal as other people that haven't been abused. The abuse has just changed their attitude to life, changed their attitude to people. But as abuse victim myself, I'm glad that it's all out in the open now, that everybody knows, the whole world knows, and the Catholic Church knows, and they knew all the time, but they can't deny now that they do know, which they have done throughout years and years and years of their silence. And instead of taking action when they knew the abuse was taking place, they could have saved lives upon lives, and the torture for families and children, and just their silence just has ruined more lives that you could think of.
Il fallimento delle autorità ecclesiastiche, vescovi, superiori religiosi, sacerdoti e altri nell'affrontare adeguatamente questi crimini repugnanti ha giustamente suscitato indignazione e rimane causa di sofferenza e di vergogna per la comunità cattolica.
He said he is keeping bishops accountable, he is removing bishops, but I said to him that he may have removed some, but they're being allowed to resign and walk away, so nobody knows that they have been guilty of anything.
You know, you only have to do a few Google searches to see loads of examples of popes and bishops saying, we didn't know. Like the rest of society, we didn't even understand such things were possible. They did, they lied.
Dublín, agosto de 2018. Por primera vez, el Papa Francisco se disculpa públicamente por las atrocidades cometidas por sacerdotes dentro de la Iglesia católica irlandesa. Se esperaba 500.000 de fieles, solo 130.000 fueron. Contraste con el 1.000.000 de personas de hace 40 años con la visita de Juan Pablo II. Irlanda es uno de los países europeos con mayor población católica. La Iglesia está arraigada en la cultura del país, pero también en sus lugares de poder. Pero desde 2002, múltiples denuncias e investigaciones han sacado a la luz más de 15.000 casos de abusos sexuales cometidos entre los años 70 y 90. Los abusos perpetrados por miembros del clero no vienen de ahora. Sin embargo, las disculpas del Papa no llegaron hasta 2018, demasiado tarde para algunos. Su visita sigue siendo controvertida, ya que muchos irlandeses se sienten traicionados. Después de los cientos de suicidios que siguieron a los abusos, los que lograron afrontar la vida tras la violencia son conocidos como los supervivientes. Martin Gallagher es uno de ellos. Durante su infancia fue agredido sexualmente por Eugene Green, un sacerdote de la parroquia de Donegal en el norte de Irlanda. A su lado otro Martin, Rich, inspector de policía jubilado, fue el primero en escuchar su testimonio.
When we were younger and abused, there was nobody to talk to that we could trust. The priests we couldn't go near. They would laugh at us and call us liars. We couldn't tell our parents because they would have to go to the priest and he'd do the same thing to them. We couldn't tell the guards because the guards and the priests and teachers were all big buddies and they stuck together, so we were alone. Martin here came along and started to investigate Eugene Green, and that opened up a big page in our life because it released a lot of pressure, anxiety, depression, all those bad feelings we were building up for years. So just by talking to Martin the first day, that lifted a big load from my shoulders that somebody was going to help me in the end.
En 2008, Martin Rich publicó Rompiendo el silencio, libro que relata la investigación que realizó sobre las denuncias de abusos de 1960 a 1990 contra el sacerdote Green. Acusa a la Iglesia Católica de no hacer nada para detener décadas de abuso, incluso si ya se habían presentado múltiples denuncias contra el sacerdote violador.
I was glad I was there for them because they educated me too, and they're educating society, because those people are experts because they know what they're talking about, you see. So again, Martin doesn't need my platitudes, but I'm so grateful, and so is the public, for the likes of Martin, like, you know, and thank God he's getting his own life back on track, you know, and it's not easy. We all have bad days, you know, and it can come back and grab us with fear and contempt and everything, but we have to be careful too, because anger can be self-destructive as well, though maybe it's good to hold on to some of it too, to realise what's going on, you know. I would like to say thank you, Martin, again and again and again.
La historia de Martin no es un caso aislado. Las denuncias de abuso sexual en Irlanda afectan a casi 14.500 niños por delitos cometidos durante varias décadas. En Europa, Irlanda es uno de los países más afectados por este fenómeno. En comparación, Bélgica, Alemania y Francia han registrado varios cientos de denuncias desde 2010. Para luchar contra estas agresiones, la diócesis puso en marcha el Servicio de Protección a la Infancia en 2002, junto con una agencia administrada por el Estado. Andrew Fagan ha sido su director y coordinador desde 2010.
When it became known that, you know, priests had behaved in an abusive way towards children, that was understood as a problem for the priest, not as a problem for the child or for other children. And for a long time, and it's not as if the diocesan authorities didn't do anything about those situations. They did do things, but they were all about trying to fix up the priest and send him back. And they were not child-centered. You know, they did not prioritize the safety of children. Even though lots of things have changed, I'm not sure that perception has changed. I think that a lot of people still think it's a bit risky to allow your children to be involved in church activities. So I would say that there are a lot of parents who have made a decision to distance themselves from the church.
Frank Reborn es sacerdote en la parroquia de Glansbyn, en el norte de Dublín. Pone en práctica las directivas de la diócesis sobre protección a los niños. Y como todos los sacerdotes de Irlanda, se ha sometido a una prueba psicológica antes de encargarse de la parroquia.
If I'm meeting with parents and we're preparing their children for the sacrament, say for confirmation or for communion, we will explain to the parents that we have a child safeguarding policy in action here in our parish. No adult is alone with a child. You know, especially here in our own parish, in our sacristy, no adult is alone. That if children are on the premises, we make sure that they're under the care of those who have been guard vetted and those who have completed the training course. Also, if you have any visiting priests, if you have anybody coming into our sacristy, they are obliged to sign in. And we also, like me, we would ask parents, we'd ask guardians of children not to let their child go to the toilet on their own, that they stay there, that they stay in the public area, just making sure that their child is okay. You know, it's been a horrible chapter in the history of the church and in our lives. So it's a really horrible chapter. You know, so I would be hugely passionate, and I would do anything that I possibly could to make sure no child is hurt in this church.
Si hoy la Iglesia pide disculpas, es gracias a las valientes denuncias, como la de Darren McGavin, de 48 años, superviviente de abuso sexual. Su atacante, Tony Walsh, cumple condena por violar a más de 200 niños en la barriada de Belfermot, donde Darren creció en un entorno familiar violento.
At the age of 7, when I went to that school, he became the parish priest. So he was adorned. He was also an impersonator of Elvis Presley. So he was in a thing called the All Priest Show, and they went around the country in halls and clubs. They got paid. So everyone thought, isn't he brilliant? Isn't he great? How amazing is he? And then when he talks on the pulpit about his Lord Jesus Christ, Jesus is my friend. I'm going to save you. He went home and told me parents. So the dirty secret was out. I now know you're beating that child and your wife. So now both my parents, which were adults, were vulnerable to the priest and in his pocket, because he knows their dirty secret. So the priest suggested that I take your son out of this environment because you've damaged him. He's acting out and you're beating him more and you don't know how to deal with him. If he comes with me, I can teach him love, and he can serve morning masses, and we'll bring him to lovely places. Take a bit of pressure off you. To somebody, a mother of 5 children, they were all going mad, and the husband was very rarely there, and when he was beating the shit out of her. That was brilliant. My child is safe. What if I was to tell you that a young boy was tied up over a coffee table, bound by his hands to his ankles, and noticed a candle burning, a thin one, but just thought it was a clerical candle. And while I was told that I'd burn in hell for all eternity, I was raped with the burning candle.
A los 12 años, Darren se da cuenta, mientras ve un documental sobre pederastia, que su relación con el párroco no tiene nada de normal. A partir de ese día empezó a ver a un psiquiatra infantil con un solo miedo: que el juez no le creyera durante el juicio.
The lady gave me the doll and says to me, "Can you show me what happened?" And I said, "You want me to stick me cock and me penis inside the doll in front of you?" And she said, "What?" I said, "But you told me to show you. So you want me to, like, rip the doll and ride the doll?" She goes, "No, just show me." I said, "I don't understand." I said, "I'd have to do it." I said, "But you said it was wrong. So why do you want me to do something that's wrong? I don't understand that." So they were like, "That kind of makes sense. We didn't come across that before." So I said, "How about just ask me what happened?" So when I was asking, I had to keep asking them and taking the tissues at 12 and saying, "Are you okay?" Because I had traumatized them. To me it was okay, because I was used to it.
Hoy es terapeuta y puede ayudar a otras víctimas de abuso, siendo él mismo un superviviente a 5 intentos de suicidio. Darren es parte de ese 10% de las víctimas que han denunciado su caso a las autoridades. En 2014, en una entrevista para el diario italiano La Repubblica, el número de sacerdotes pederastas evaluados por el Papa Francisco fue del 2%, incluidos obispos y cardenales. Sin embargo, en la investigación realizada por Spotlight en Boston, Richard Saib, psiquiatra y sacerdote retirado, estimó que la cifra era mayor, un 6%. Según Saib, un pederasta dentro de la Iglesia abusa de 250 víctimas en su vida. Extrapolado a Irlanda, representa 280 sacerdotes pederastas y 70.000 víctimas. Para todo el continente europeo, unos 11.200 sacerdotes que habrían abusado de más de 2.800.000 víctimas. La amplitud del escándalo habría empujado a la Iglesia a encubrir los abusos. Colm O'Gorman, superviviente y director de Amnistía Internacional Irlanda, lucha todos los días por la reparación de los daños causados.
The way that the church conducted itself and the hypocrisy and the corruption at the heart of the church was revealed, and that led to people in Ireland rejecting the moral authority of the church. It led to an end of the political dominance of the Catholic Church here in Ireland. You know, for decades the Vatican called us liars. You know, they said we were telling lies, that we were fantasists, that this was an anti-Catholic agenda, that there was no cover-up. So now the Pope says there was a cover-up and we're meant to think he's great for acknowledging the truth? That's the minimum.
Mary Collins también es una superviviente a la violación de sacerdotes. Muy activa en la prevención de abusos y pornografía en Internet, Collins fue uno de los símbolos de la Comisión para la Protección de Menores en 2014 del Papa Francisco para luchar contra el abuso sexual. Dimitió en 2017, harta de la resistencia del Vaticano.
The commission was experts outside the church, child protection experts from every area, brought together to advise the Pope, to bring expertise into the church from outside. And I went along with it because if the church was sincere in wanting to change, I thought that I should work to help. But I found after a couple of years that there was so much resistance in the Vatican to change. They were undermining the work of the Commission, they were resisting the work of the Commission, and really we were making recommendations, the Pope was approving them, and they were not being implemented, so it was a waste of time. The Curia, the civil service, the Pope's civil service, they saw us on the Commission as people coming in from the outside and interfering. The importance of child protection was ignored, really. It was more politics.
La reciente decisión del Papa Francisco de levantar el secreto pontificio sobre las denuncias de pederastia muestra un deseo de transparencia dentro del Vaticano. A partir de ahora, las denuncias y testimonios sobre abusos sexuales en los archivos de la Santa Sede podrán ser juzgadas por la justicia civil. La Iglesia se ve obligada a responder a las expectativas de la sociedad. En 2015, los irlandeses aprobaron el matrimonio homosexual mediante referéndum. Luego, en 2018, el país revocó la 8ª enmienda de su Constitución para permitir el derecho al aborto. Dado que casi el 80% de la población irlandesa es católica, son los mismos que votaron por estas dos reformas situadas en lados opuestos de las directivas de la Iglesia. Los números resaltan una paradoja. La sociedad irlandesa sigue siendo culturalmente católica, pero alejándose de la Iglesia como institución. Después de 20 años, Irlanda intenta curar sus heridas y mejorar la seguridad de los niños. El país entendió que la Iglesia no arreglaría nada por sí misma. Una lección importante, ya que otras naciones van por detrás. Están en la etapa de denuncia, como en Australia, Francia, Polonia o Estados Unidos, donde las víctimas de abuso sexual dentro de la Iglesia apenas empiezan a ser escuchadas. Todas estas voces demuestran la amplitud del fenómeno y, sobre todo, la respuesta demasiado frecuente de la Iglesia. El silencio. O peor aún, la complicidad. Como prueban las recientes revelaciones en el caso McCarrick, arzobispo estadounidense promovido por Juan Pablo II a pesar de las acusaciones de abuso sexual que pesaban sobre él. Solo en 2019 McCarrick fue expulsado del sacerdocio. Ahora las víctimas acuden a la justicia ordinaria con la esperanza de ser escuchadas.
On keeping my own faith, yes, I've kept my own faith, and my beliefs, but the institution of the church does not mean that much to me now. The institutional church has really, I've lost all trust in it. I still have a relationship with God, and I will still pray, and I still consider myself a Catholic.
It's a great question. Do I have faith? I don't have religious faith, but I have, I suppose, an even greater faith in humanity, in goodness, in life, in healing, an even greater faith in something that I know to be true, and that is that no matter how awful the harm done, no matter how awful the offence caused, that if we're prepared to own it, to face it with courage and with truth and with compassion and with love and with a commitment to moving forward, then healing and recovery and progress isn't just possible, it's inevitable. And that this I know, this I have unshakable faith in.
It's the living in silence which is the most awful thing. And for so many victims, it's been too much, and they've taken their own lives, as we know. So we have to think about the countries where this is still happening and think of the children there.